It is the most universal story in the world of creation. The 2 a.m. idea, the flash of insight in the shower, the solution that arrives in a dream, so brilliant, so obvious that you can't believe no one has thought of it before. Your Tesla. And then, just as quickly, the second voice arrives, the cold, rational, and utterly merciless voice of the imposter. It whispers, "But who are you to build this? You're not a coder. You're not an engineer. You don't have an MBA. You have no experience." And in that moment, 99% of all great inventions die. Silently, without a fight. What if I told you that this second voice is a liar? What if I told you that no experience is not a liability? What if it is your single greatest, most unfair advantage? Welcome to the Architect's Vault. Today we are not just building a product, we are deconstructing a myth. We will give you the 5-step algorithm for the unqualified genius, the blueprint that proves that the greatest empires are often built not by the experts, but by the outsiders who were too naive to know what was impossible.
The experience prison. Society worships at the altar of experience. It is the great currency of the professional world, the foundation of every resume, the prerequisite for every great opportunity. We are taught from our first day of school that the path to success is a linear accumulation of knowledge and time served. Experience is sold to us as a map of a known territory, a guide that will keep us safe and lead us to predictable success. But this map has a dark secret. It does not just show you the path. Over time, it becomes the path. It blinds you to all other possibilities. The very expertise that makes you valuable in the current system becomes the gilded cage that prevents you from ever creating a new one. This is the great tragic paradox of the expert. This is the experience prison. The bars of this prison are invisible, but they are stronger than steel. They are forged from the very knowledge that made the expert successful. One bar is the ghost of past failures. The expert knows all the ways an idea can go wrong because they have seen it happen or they have studied the failures of others. Their mind is a graveyard of cautionary tales, and this graveyard makes them conservative and risk-averse. Another bar is the tyranny of best practices. The expert knows the most efficient, optimized, and proven way to do things within the current system. This knowledge makes them incredibly effective at polishing the existing machine, but it makes them utterly blind to the possibility of building a new one. Their expertise chains them to the logic of the old world. The final, strongest bar is the curse of knowledge. This is a profound cognitive bias. Once you know something, it becomes impossible to imagine what it is like to not know it. The expert can no longer see the problem with the fresh, naive, and brutally simple eyes of a beginner. They can only see it through the complex, jargon-filled lens of their own expertise. And so the expert sits in their comfortable, well-lit prison, a master of a world that is destined to be replaced. But you, the one with no experience, you arrive at this same problem and you are free. You are not trapped by the ghosts of past failures because you have not lived them. You are not chained to the tyranny of best practices because you have not learned them. You are not afflicted with the curse of knowledge because your mind is a clean, white, empty canvas. Your ignorance is not a liability. It is a weapon. It is a form of pristine, uncorrupted vision. The expert trapped inside their prison is spending all their energy trying to invent a more comfortable chair for their cell. They are trying to make the existing, broken system 5% more efficient. You are the only one who can see that the wall is made of cardboard. You are the only one naive enough to ask the simple, stupid question that reveals the entire prison is a phantom. The expert seeks to optimize. You are here to obsolete. Your lack of experience is the one thing that gives you the power to do it. The first step in building your Tesla is to recognize that the prison you fear is one you have never been in. You are already on the outside.
The outsider's weapon. You have understood the great paradox, that the expert, for all their knowledge, is a prisoner. You are on the outside. But freedom on its own is not enough. An outsider without a weapon is simply a wanderer. To build, to conquer, to invent, you must learn to weaponize your unique position. Your no experience is not a void.
It is a collection of powerful, hidden weapons that the expert has long since lost. There are three that you must learn to wield. Your first weapon is pristine vision. The expert sees the world through a dense, complex filter of accumulated knowledge, best practices, and historical failures. They see 1,000 reasons why something cannot be done. You see the problem with the clean, brutal clarity of a child. You are not burdened by the way things are supposed to be. This allows you to ask the simple, stupid questions that are, in reality, the most profound. When Joe Gibbia and Brian Keskey started Airbnb, they were not hotel executives. They were designers. They were outsiders. They were not trying to solve the problem of hotel occupancy rates. They were trying to solve the simple human problem of how do we pay our rent this month? This pristine, unfiltered perspective allowed them to see the absurdly simple solution that the entire hotel industry had missed for a century. There was a vacant hotel room in almost every home in the city. Your second weapon is speed. The expert, trapped in the prison of their own knowledge, must move slowly. Every new idea must be vetted by committees, justified with data, and checked against the ghosts of past failures. They are the captain of a massive, heavily armored battleship. It is powerful, but it turns with the speed of a continent. You are the captain of a nimble pirate ship. You have no bureaucracy. You have no legacy to protect. You have no reputation to risk. You are nothing but an idea and the will to execute it. This allows you to operate with breathtaking speed. You can build, test, fail, and iterate in the time it takes the battleship to simply weigh anchor. While the expert is writing a 30-page proposal, you have already built and launched the first crude version of your product. Your third and most dangerous weapon is asymmetric motivation. The expert, the insider, is playing to not lose. Their primary motivation is to protect their comfortable position, their salary, their reputation. They are defending a territory. You, the outsider, are playing to win. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. This makes you unpredictable and terrifying. You are willing to take the risks that the insider, with their golden handcuffs, cannot. You are willing to look foolish. You are willing to embrace the spectacular public failure that is the necessary price of a spectacular public success. This is the outsider's weapon. It is the holy trinity of pristine vision, breathtaking speed, and asymmetric motivation. The expert sees you as an amateur, a nobody, an unqualified dreamer. They look at you and they see your lack of a resume. The architect, the alchemist, knows the truth. They see you, the outsider, and they see the most dangerous and disruptive force in the universe. They see the one person with the power to make their entire world obsolete. Your work is to stop seeing yourself as the expert sees you and to start seeing yourself as the architect does.
The minimum viable truth. You are the outsider, armed with the formidable weapons of pristine vision, breathtaking speed, and asymmetric motivation. You have a grand, revolutionary idea, a vision of a completely new world. And it is at this very moment that you are in the greatest danger. The danger is that you will fall in love with the complexity of your own vision. You will try to build the entire perfect world-changing Tesla all at once. The perfect design, the revolutionary battery, the global charging network, the self-driving AI. And in doing so, you will drown in the sheer scale of your own ambition. The architect, the seasoned inventor, knows that no great empire is built in a day. It is built upon a single, unshakable foundation. Before you build the product, you must first discover that foundation. This is the hunt for the minimum viable truth. The minimum viable truth is the absolute atomic core of your entire idea. It is the one single most important assumption that your entire grand vision rests upon. It is the hypothesis that, if proven false, makes everything else you have planned completely and utterly irrelevant. Consider the birth of Zappos, the online shoe empire. The founder, Nick Swinmurn, had a revolutionary idea that people would be willing to buy shoes online, a product they had always insisted on trying on in a physical store. This was his grand vision. The amateur would have started by trying to build the entire empire. They would have rented a warehouse, built a billion-dollar inventory of shoes, designed a perfect website, and hired 100 employees. This would have required millions of dollars and years of work, all based on a single, unproven assumption. Swinmurn, the architect, did not do this. He was not yet interested in building an empire. He was only interested in one thing: testing his minimum viable truth. His truth was this: will a person give me their money for a picture of a shoe? That was it. If the answer to that one question was no, the entire billion-dollar vision was a fantasy. So he did not build a warehouse. He did not buy a single pair of shoes. He went to his local shoe store, took pictures of their shoes, and posted those pictures on a simple, ugly website. When an order came in, he would run to the shoe store, buy the shoes at full retail price, and mail them to the customer. He made no money. In fact, he lost money on every single sale. But he had found what he was looking for. He had found his minimum viable truth. People would buy shoes online. That single proven fact was an asset more valuable than $1 billion in venture capital. It was the solid bedrock upon which a real empire could now be built. This is your work in this step. You must take your grand, beautiful, complex vision, and you must have the brutal discipline to distill it down to its one core, terrifying assumption. What is the one leap of faith your entire idea depends on? Is it that people will pay for a subscription to your service? Is it that they will trust an AI with their most sensitive data? Find that one single question, and then, like Swinmurn, find the absolute cheapest, fastest, and simplest way to test that truth. Forget the product, forget the brand, forget the empire. Your only mission is to find the one unshakable atomic truth that will serve as the first stone of your new world.
The alchemist's lever. You have proven your minimum viable truth. You have found the solid bedrock upon which to build your empire. And now you face the second great wall of impossibility, the wall of how. You have the brilliant idea, the proven concept, but you are not a master coder. You are not a world-class designer. You are not a supply chain genius. You do not have the millions of dollars in capital to build the factory or hire the team. The gap between your proven truth and a finished, beautiful product seems like an impassable chasm. This is the point where the amateur gives up. Defeated by their own limitations, they conclude that their dream, while valid, is simply too big for them to build alone. The architect, the alchemist, looks at this same chasm and smiles, because they know the great, liberating secret of the modern world. They know that your job is not to have the skills, your job is to command them. This is the art of the alchemist's lever. Archimedes said, "Give me a lever long enough, and I shall move the world." The alchemist of the 21st century says, "Give me a lever long enough, and I shall build the world." That lever is other people's resources, other people's time, other people's money, and other people's expertise. The old model of the inventor, the lone genius toiling away in a garage, is a romantic and dangerously outdated myth. The new model, the model of the alchemist, is that of the conductor. The conductor does not play the violin. They do not play the cello, nor the trumpet. They may not be a master of any single instrument, but they have the vision. They hold the sheet music, and they have the skill to bring 100 master musicians together and make them play in perfect harmony to create a symphony far grander than any one of them could produce alone. This is your new role. You are the conductor. Your no experience is irrelevant. You are not the musician. You are the one with the vision for the symphony. You don't know how to code? The Alchemist's lever allows you to go to platforms like Upwork or TopTal and command the expertise of a world-class developer in Ukraine or Brazil for a fraction of the cost of a local hire. You don't know how to design a beautiful user interface? The lever allows you to command the skills of a brilliant designer from Argentina. You don't have the capital to build a factory? The lever allows you to command the existing manufacturing infrastructure of a factory in Zhuangzhou. You are no longer limited by what you know. You're only limited by what you can articulate. Your primary skill is no longer the ability to do the work. It is the ability to communicate your vision with such clarity and passion that you can orchestrate the skills of others to bring it to life. This is the ultimate unfair advantage. While the amateur is spending 5 years trying to become a mediocre coder, the architect has already assembled a global team of masters and launched their product. Your work in this step is to abandon the myth of the lone genius. You must embrace your new role as the visionary, the architect, the conductor. Your lack of technical skill is not a bug, it is a feature. It forces you to operate at the 10,000-foot level, to focus only on the vision and the system, while leveraging the brilliant specialized skills of a global orchestra to play the notes.
The first echo. The orchestra is assembled. The symphony is written. Through the masterful use of the alchemist's lever, you have built the first tangible version of your product, the minimum viable product. It is not perfect. It is not the grand world-changing empire you see in your mind. It is a crude, functional, and beautifully imperfect first draft. And now you stand at the edge of the final, most terrifying chasm. The chasm of public opinion. This is the moment you must release your creation into the world, to be judged, to be used, to be ignored, or to be torn apart. The fear of this moment is what keeps most creations locked away in the workshop forever. The amateur, paralyzed by this fear, makes one last mistake. They believe they only have one shot. They wait, they polish, they refine. They add one more feature, holding out for the perfect moment to launch, a moment that will never come. The architect, the alchemist, understands a profound truth of creation. Your invention is not a monologue, it is a conversation. And a conversation cannot begin until you have spoken the first word. This is the art of the first echo. Imagine you are standing at the edge of a vast, silent canyon. This canyon is the market. You hold in your hand the first version of your product, your first word. Your job is not to shout a perfect, eloquent speech. Your job is simply to speak, to send your first simple signal into the vast emptiness, and then to listen, with every fiber of your being, for the echo that comes back. This is the great reframe. The launch is not the final exam. It is the first question. You release your imperfect product to a small, carefully chosen group of early adopters. You are not saying, "Behold my perfect creation." You are asking, "Does this resonate with you?" The echo that comes back is the most valuable resource in the universe. It is pure, unfiltered data. Some parts of the echo will be praise. This tells you what is working, what is resonating, what is the core of your true value. But the most valuable parts of the echo will be the criticism, the confusion, the bug reports, the complaints. The amateur hears this and feels the sting of rejection. Their ego is wounded. The architect hears this and feels a surge of exhilaration. This is not rejection, it is a treasure map. The echo is the market giving you a precise, step-by-step blueprint for how to make your product better. It is telling you exactly where the friction is, where the confusion lies, and what the next most valuable feature should be.
This is the great engine of innovation. It is not a process of lonely genius, but a continuous, iterative loop of speak, listen, refine, repeat. The first echo is the beginning of that loop. It is the act of having the courage to release your imperfect creation into the world, not as a finished product, but as the opening line of a conversation. It is the moment you stop guessing what people want and you start listening to what they are telling you. Your work in this final step is to abandon the myth of the perfect launch. You must embrace the spirit of the scientist, release your first experiment, your first echo, and then become an obsessive, egoless listener. Because the answer to how you build your Tesla is not hidden in your own mind. It is waiting for you in the echo.
The story that you are unqualified is the most dangerous myth in the world of creation. Experience is not a prerequisite for building the future. It is the byproduct of having the courage to try. You have the blueprint. You understand that your ignorance is a weapon, that your one core truth is your foundation, and that leverage is your engine. The prison of experience is a phantom, its door unlocked. The only thing separating your idea from its first manifestation is a single decision. Thank you for joining us inside Capital Sanctum. To continue mastering the frameworks that turn ideas into empires, subscribe to Capital Sanctum and join the architects of tomorrow.